Between all the crazy jumps, tight turns, and hidden paths, there are a ton of shortcuts, both big and small, that can help you race to the front of the pack in Fortnite Rocket Racing. We're here to share the best shortcuts we've found so far. Tilted Turnpike has a lot of, you guessed it, tilted elevated roadways. One of the best, albeit risky shortcuts is between the two tunnels filled with obstacles. Coming out of the first tunnel, try and stay low on the wall since you'll be trying to hit the underside of the elevated highway. Air dodge up to the top of it, and then immediately enter a drift going left. If you enter it at the right angle, you can keep the drift going for almost the entirety of this path, and you'll hit a boost pad at the end right before entering the second tunnel. Save boost if you have it for the drift before the tunnel, in case you're coming into it too hot and miss your entry point. Riviera is a really tough course with lots of obstacles and hairpin turns, and 3 actual shortcuts that we found. Near the beginning, while going through a small tunnel near the castle, enter this corner close to the inside edge and jump up this stone staircase. There will be invisible walls to your left that won't appear unless you're really close, so you have to start the drift before you can barely even see them. Be ready to feather jump in the air and keep your boost handy for mistakes on the exit. For the next shortcut, after this straightaway with the water on the left, there will be an obstacle directly ahead of you with a sharp left turn and then a right. They're so quick in succession that it's supremely difficult to hit both cleanly. Our recommendation is to either hop the first obstacle over the castle battlements and then cut the corner with another jump, or cut the corner to the left of the obstacle directly after the checkpoint. In any case, you're better off cutting at least one of these turns out, as you'd have to slow way down to make them both work. The last shortcut is before this curve around the shantytown on the water, but you'll need boost. Go straight forward and boost through the air, but make sure you hit the inside of this last house, as going to the outside will throw you straight into the middle of a gnarly corner. Getting back to the road before the turn gives you time to enter a drift and avoid the wall. This one is pretty simple. Right at the start over the first hill on Airborne, there's a boost path right outside the pavement to the right that will give you a quick leg up early on. Try and keep your car low, as it's easy to float way too high off the hill and lose speed, and make sure you stay to the left after the boost arrow to avoid the rock column. But be ready to correct to the right so you don't hit the far wall. Despite the name of this short track, it has quite a few acrobatic shortcuts. For the first, go underneath the elevated tunnel right at the start to hit a speed boost at the end of the dirt path. After coming out of the half pipe after that, stay to the left to find another dirt path and air dodge onto the wall to hit the boost pad. After jumping off that one, stay on the outside of the track and air dodge back on before inching your way to the top of the wall to hit more boost pads. Next, use your boost to get from the next platform onto the top of the tunnel. Drift around the top of it and air dodge up to the path above to get another boost pad. You can also go underneath this final tunnel to find a boost pad at the end of a dirt track, but it's so filled with hazards that it's probably best to still take the upper boost path. Still, if you want to watch me drive through it just like an absolute crazy person, please enjoy. Just like I planned. This one can be pretty tricky. Right after the long U-turn with the road on the cliff wall, you'll see an avocado at the end of the track. The shortcut is to the right, directly behind the reason that millennials can't buy houses. Until you get the hang of it, you'll have to start the drift before you can actually see it, on faith. But you'll come underneath a rock bridge and shoot out the other side, making the turn much narrower than it would be otherwise. This is another good one to save your boost on in case you clip that outside wall. Festive Falls has 2 main shortcuts, but they're in the same place on opposite sides of the track, so you'll have to choose one or the other. During the straightaway right after the first big turn with the 3 waterfalls, you'll see a small ridge with a boost pad on one side and the eponymous waterfalls on the other. Both are pretty easy to get to, and we'd probably recommend the waterfalls, especially if you have boost, as it cuts out a big swath of track. Either way, you'll be getting a little speed up from either side. And those are the best shortcuts we've found so far in Fortnite Rocket Racing. We hope you found this guide useful, and while you're here, make sure to check out our essential tips and tricks. And for everything else gaming, you're already in the right place. IGN.